What's going on, everybody in Asia uh, and around the world? On this episode, we have Roque Martinez joining us. He has been probably one of the best heavyweights around the Asia Pacific region for the last couple of years. Some of you might not know who he is, but he is going to fight in Japan this weekend against Jaideep Singh for the megaton title at Deep. He's coming out of retirement. So during the podcast, he talks about why he went into retirement and why he came out of retirement. He goes into detail about actually his roots, which is back in the Northwest in the United States, in Washington State, and training out there with, Matt Hume, Josh Barnett, during the Pride days, helping them out. He discusses those things, and then he talks about transitioning to Guam and joining up with Spike 22 and all the killers out there. He has fought, in PXC, Top FC in Korea. He held the belt for PXC. He's fought in Deep a few times, so it's not like he's a newcomer to this region. But anyways, yeah, he's a cool dude, and he, just doesn't talk about fighting stuff. He talks about the island and the other jobs that he has other than fighting, which is doing insurance and also a little food truck. So yeah, some interesting topics that come up as we have this conversation. So yeah, check this out. Kumite Radio. Today we have Roque Martinez. Did I say that right?
Yep, you got it.
All right, because someone told me that not to say your name the wrong way. Because I thought what I thought was your name was Rocky. Is that?
Oh yeah, a lot of people say that, but
yeah,
it's actually Roque. But yeah,
it's
pretty close.
it's close enough, right?
Yeah.
Now, how's life on the island?
Oh man, it's good. I love it. I love living on Guam. It's nice. Just real relaxing lifestyle. Besides work, but that man, I really like it out here.
What do you do other than a fighter? What do you do as work?
Man, actually, surprisingly, I'm a supervisor and I'm in charge at an insurance company. I oversee like the for home insurance. I kind of make sure that everyone's insured for the right amount on their homes. So I do that, and then I also recently opened up a food truck with a couple partners. So other than fight training, man, I got a pretty busy life. So but it's good. I like it.
Well, 3 jobs, that's a lot. That's a lot of work. Let's talk about the insurance thing. Like, how did you get into doing insurance?
Well, it's actually my grandpa's brother is actually one of the big bosses there. So I started there as when I first moved back to Guam. I just kind of had a job, and I thought it was going to be temporary, and I just stuck with it. And this was about 10 years ago, and I've been there since. So I just kept moving up a little bit slowly, and then.
Oh, so it's like a career that you have outside of your fighting career, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I had to work since I started fighting. I've had a regular job too, so just make enough money to survive.
For real. Yeah, you said that you just recently opened a food truck. Yeah, I seen that. It's called Heavy Hitters. How did that
come about? Man, I don't know. In Japan, they're real big on those Turkish kebabs. So like a lot of the street food, you see the vertical roaster with the meat, and you just shave it off, and they put in like a pita pocket. So after my last fight in Korea, we stopped in Japan after just to hang out and relax, and couple of my friends, were like, oh, shoot, man, this probably do pretty good in Guam, So, shoot, it started there, and we kept practicing and practicing. I mean, this was back in September, and we just recently opened. So, a lot of trial and error. We finally got it up and going. So that's pretty much how it started.
Is the food truck
Yeah.
culture growing on Guam, or is it something
Uh,
new?
it's fairly new, but it's actually growing pretty fast. There's a group of food truck owners that they get together every night and they do different. We have different villages, like kind of like a town, but different villages, and they set up, every certain places and stuff. So, but for now, we're just open on the weekends, and we just hit the dinner crowds, and like we're kind of posted by a bar too, so we get like the late night guys too. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the go-to food at night after
Yeah,
people drinking and
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, seems like it. I mean, I know I like it, so.
All right. You said that you went back to Guam 10 years ago. So where were you before you went back to Guam?
I was living out in Seattle, Washington. Yeah. I lived in Guam till I was about, I want to say 12, and I moved to the States, to Seattle, in maybe 99 or 2000. And then I graduated high school out there, and then shortly after high school and a little bit of college out there, I moved back in 2007.
Did
So
you kind of wanted to get into fighting when you were out in Seattle, or was it when you were in Guam?
it was actually I started out there. I actually started under Matt Hume at AMC,
Hmm.
uh, like Josh Barnett and stuff. A couple of my friends were like, hey, let's go check out an MMA class. And, I wrestled in high school. One of my godbrothers he's a pretty good amateur boxer. So, I was always around it. And then one day we just checked out an MMA gym, which was Matt Hume's own. And I was the only friend who stuck with it. Then, they offered me a amateur fight and just kept still doing it. I'm surprised I'm still doing it, but yeah, I guess I love the sport.
Well, there's a lot of guys, big name guys that come out from the Northwest. Because actually, I grew up
Oh,
in the Northwest too, Tacoma.
oh, okay. Oh, right on, right on.
So I
Yeah, I
know
lived
the
in
area.
Federal. I
Yeah,
went to Federal Way High School, so
for sure. There's a lot of guys like, especially in Federal Way. There's Benson Henderson comes out of Federal Way.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I think he
Even
went to Decatur. Did he go to Decatur High School?
yeah, he went to Decatur, and then I heard Andre Feely's from Federal Way too. So
Oh, really?
because
I didn't know that.
yeah, yeah, I didn't know it either until they brought up his. I don't know what it was, but I was like, oh shoot, Federal Way, So that's pretty. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
even before those guys, there's a deep history with, like you said, Matt Hume, Dennis Hallman.
yeah,
There's
Dennis.
a lot of guys in the Northwest, right?
Yeah, yeah. There's one of the big influences too for MMA for me was this guy Reese, who was
Oh
also
yeah.
yeah, he opened up his own gym. He used to fight in like IFL, and um shoot, I know one of the bigger events in Hawaii. I forgot what that one was, but yeah, I kind of started with him, and so
How
yeah,
how was it training with them though? Like those guys are the old school mentality, right?
yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, shoot, I was just a young shoot. I was 18, 19, and I see guys, Ivan Salivary, and shoot, a bunch of Pride guys would come in, like back, Hayato Sakurai, and just, man, it was so cool. I'm like, shoot, I see these guys on Pride DVDs, and they're just right here training. But at the time I was still amateur, and then I was training, and then one day Josh Barnett was like, "Hey man, can you jump in? I need some big guys." I was like, so, "Throw me in there." So jumped in with them, and then we kind of just developed a friendship there. And since then, I jump in and train with them pretty often. A couple of his Crow Cop fights, I was getting some rounds in with them. Shoot, I think I was 19 or 20. Just shoot, it was fun. So I jumped in there.
How
It was pretty
how
cool.
was it? How was it like? Because you were, like you just said, you were helping them prepare for Pride fights and stuff like that. How was the environment? How was the atmosphere of training with them compared to, like, say, training at other places?
Um, Shoot, for me at the time, I want to say, I was a pretty young guy. So, and to me, it was just, I was like, oh man, this is so cool kind of attitude. It was cool to train with those guys, and I mean, I felt pretty welcome training with them. I didn't, for the most part, I didn't really get that, like that snobby attitude, like, yeah, I'm a pro fighter, you're just, kind of. I didn't get that vibe. But, it's just kind of fun training, I guess you could say. And I mean, I like their style of training, and I thought it was just, for me, it was just something cool, just to train with pride fighters.
What did you get out of that? What did you learn most from training with those guys?
Now, if there's one thing I would take was that I got to train with guys who had that old school mentality, like the old school scrapper style, like, quite honestly, that they weren't very skilled, but man, they fought with so much heart, and they were just real scrappers, and I'd say that's the one thing I took from, those guys was I got to train with some real, to me, like they were warriors, so I thought that's probably the one thing I would take from that.
Wow, that's pretty amazing that you were at that age, you were in with them. Those were the guys, right? Those are the guys on TV. Those are the guys on the DVDs, because that's what you had DVDs
Yeah,
still, and like video
exactly.
cassettes, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and what's crazy about it is like Matt Hume was like, man, he was crazy good, and to think, I was always thinking like, man, how come he doesn't still fight, but man, he was schooling a lot of the big name fighters, and I was like, shoot, man, he should just still keep fighting, but I guess he never made it back to competition, but man, he's a really good coach though.
oh,
So,
definitely, he has two of the best like lighter weight guys at his camp right now.
oh yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Oh, let's get into Mighty Mouse. Have you seen the news about Mighty Mouse? Do you know about his situation right now?
Yeah, I've been reading into it. I kind of feel what he says. As far as him thinking he's being bullied and stuff. Um, yeah, I kind of feel for him on that one. Just in my opinion. Um, he's always been the company man. And I just think I can't blame him for wanting to. I mean, they want to throw Dillashaw in there with them, and Dillashaw's never even fought at 125, and they want to give him a crack at his belt. But maybe if Dillashaw was the title holder, maybe that's that's a different story. But he's not the title holder anymore, so that's just kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah, right now there's rumors that the UFC is shopping his contract to other promotions. Mighty Mouse's contract.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about that, but yeah, I recently saw that too. That's pretty crazy.
That is crazy, because I think that even other promotions, there's so many big promotions now. Like we don't, like some people that live in the States, they don't know about ACB, even like One Championship, or all these other promotions
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
pretty huge, and they got deep pockets, they got money. So if they're
Oh yeah.
shopping them around, I'm pretty sure some of those guys will be very interested in picking up Demetrius Johnson. He's the best. He's basically the best
Oh
in the
yeah.
world.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you recently went back. I see that you recently went back to the Northwest for a visit. Did you train? Did you go and train with out there?
No, this last trip I went this past winter, but no, I didn't go to train. It was just a family vacation, and yeah, I didn't really get to train or anything like that. So just all vacation.
What about the Seahawks? I see that you went to the game.
Oh yeah, I went to one of the games, so that's cool. Man, I always got to check them out too. I'm a huge football fan. Actually, football was my first real passion for sports. I played it in high school. I wanted to play college. I wanted to play pro. But yeah, I just love football too.
When you're in Guam and then the games are going on, you have to be watching those games either in the morning or in the
Yeah.
middle of the night. So are you staying up to watch those games?
Well, usually in general, I wake up about 4 a.m. every day to get ready to go to the gym. So when it's football season, a lot of times I'll actually just try and catch the game on at the gym, and I'll ask the guy to or if not, then I'll just stream it. So on average, I'd say that the games start at 5 a.m. here on Guam.
Mm-hmm.
You know, converted over to stateside time. Kind of sucks, man. I wish we could catch it like Sunday. Sunday during the day, like it is when you're out there. But
Seriously, me too.
Yeah, Monday mornings for us.
I think Monday Night Football is probably the best because it's on so late, so you could probably
Yeah,
catch it
so
like
it's
late
like about
morning.
lunchtime here. Yeah,
Yeah,
it goes into the lunch hour. So yeah,
yeah,
that's a pretty cool part.
yeah. If you're a real fan of the Seahawks, like I'm a big fan too. I've been a fan since like I think middle school or whatever. So yeah, I still watch them. I've been through the
Oh
struggles.
yeah, yeah,
I've been through the struggles of
yeah,
losing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I became a fan right when I moved out there. Like so which is actually when I moved out there, they were shoot. I think they were going to the AFC championship. When I moved out, so I was like, oh shoot, the hometown team's pretty good. So from there, I liked them, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, they got a cool game. Now when you go to Guam, what was the reasons for going back to Guam and not staying with Josh Barnett? Because you had such a good team out there. You had such big camps out there. Why did you move back to Guam?
Um, well, what happened was I would come to Guam. I try to come to Guam during the summers and visit family and stuff. And then one summer, man, I just had a really good time. And then I was like, man, I think I'm gonna come. Actually, I didn't plan on moving to Guam. I came out to. I was gonna go to like a semester or so, and just get a couple credits out here. While I just like maybe spend a few months out here. And man, I never ended up moving back to Seattle. So, I had my mom and stuff ship my stuff all over, and I was like, sure, I think I'll just stay here for now. And I haven't left since.
I think when you living on the beach or near the beach with lovely weather,
Yeah,
sunshine all the time, and you go back to Seattle where it's raining all the time, I think I would choose Guam
yeah,
too, to be honest with you.
yeah, yeah. I think that's kind of what happened. I fell in love with the island style. So
All right,
yeah,
did you when you got there and you started to train on on the island of Guam, did you start off right away with Spike 22?
yeah. At the time, it was actually well, when I would come back and visit, I would train with Spike 22, and they were actually combined with Purebred at the time. So Spike 22 purebred, and I would train there. So when I moved back, I was already familiar with all the guys. So um, one of my uncles, my mom's first cousin, was he was heavily involved with the Spike guys. So since then, I've stuck with them since I've been on Guam. Yeah.
Can you explain to me purebred? Because that's the first time I've heard of purebred.
Okay, so basically, shoot, back in the day, I don't know if you're familiar with Malker Manabusan. Uh, he's like one of Guam's pioneer MMA guys. But his base was wrestling. He's competed in worlds many times. Um, he had a relationship with Ensign. Um, Another guy was Big John Calvo. Um, all three of them were friends, and I believe that's how purebred kind of got started out here with Melker. Is him, Ensign, Big John. They started purebred, and since then, it was Spike 22 purebred. And then shortly after I moved back to Guam, there was kind of a split up, and purebred became just a jiu-jitsu gym primarily. And Spike 22 was the MMA part of, the gym. So, and then, since then it's kind of been separated. Purebred now is just strictly jiu-jitsu, and Spike 22 is all MMA. But of course, we have our jiu-jitsu too there now. So,
Of course.
yeah.
Now Spike 22, you guys are training in steel athletics. Am I correct?
Yes, yes. Recently moved into Steel Athletics, new facility.
And how's that? How going to a new facility? Because I heard
Yeah,
about the old facility.
yeah. It's like a complete 360. The old Spike was an outdoor gym. We had a cage, we had a mat, but man, the equipment's all rusty. The bags are all torn up, and cage is all like. I mean, the cage was still okay condition, but we just had like a canopy and a steel structure covering the mats, and just a real outdoor grimy type sweat friendly gym. And then now Steel Athletics is like honestly one of the nicer gyms I've been to. I've been to a few nice gyms in the States, but this one's actually pretty this one's up there as far as the facility goes. Yeah.
So being in an outdoor gym, like, was there was it like better for certain fighters? Do you think to be in an outdoor gym compared to going to such a nice facility where you have all the comforts?
Yeah, man. For me, I personally, yeah, I like the outdoor gym because it's just real rough and rugged. I think fighters kind of developed a like immunity to that ruggedness, and then it carries over into their fights. Like training outside and it's super hot and you're super sweating, and it's just real grimy style. But I think it turned a lot of fighters into like tough guys. So. But I mean, the new facility is nice. Facility is nice though too. So I love it there too. At Steel.
I think maybe training in that facility where you're outdoors and then moving to the new facility, you appreciate the new facility much more, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's two sides to it. I love the way how nice the new facility is, and but also I kind of miss that outdoor style. But man, it was good to be able to experience that and move forward and go into a more high tech facility now. So I like it.
Well, with Spike 22, now who is running Spike 22? Because I've never found out exactly like who were the main coaches, or are you guys just training each other? What's going on with that situation?
Well, right. Melker's Melker's the original guy for Spike 22, Melker Manabusin.
Mhm.
Um, he still comes in every now, he still comes in and he helps coach a little bit, but man, he has so many things going on. So for the most part, we just kind of each of our pro fighters kind of we split it up and we each teach different classes for the MMA, kickboxing, and all that. And for this fight, we actually just recently brought in a guy from Switzerland to help me train, and while he's there, he's teaching all the kickboxing and boxing classes. So it's pretty good. But yeah, other than that, we just the pro fighters we train ourselves pretty much, and we put together our own programs. And I personally, I think it's really good, man. I think our fighters can compete with a lot of the fighters out there. I mean, you seen it. Frank Chill's last fight. He trains with us. He shows that we can compete with those guys. So yeah, I think we do good for coaching ourselves, and yeah.
Have you made visits to other gyms or other like teams and trained with them?
Yeah, a few. When I went out to California once, me and my friend went to go train with Josh at CSW, Eric Paulson. Been out there and a few different ones in Washington. Like I've been to Ivan Salisbury's. One of my friends out in Washington has one too. Combat Sport and Fitness.
Mm.
Uh, Off the top of my head, I think that's the few I've been to. There's probably a few more, but yeah, just off the top of my head, those are the ones I could think of.
Is there a place that you would want to go and train? Like if you had the opportunity, like another camp or under a certain coach or something like that?
Uh, Man, honestly, I kind of I want to keep everything on Guam.
Mm.
Like the owner of Steel Athletics, JJ Ambrose, he's trying to make Steel and Spike a a hub for this region as a legit elite MMA camp and facility. And I really think we're capable of doing that. So I'd rather just stick it out here. And if I have to, I'll fly guys over like we just did. I'm fighting a kickboxer, so we brought in this guy. Um, I like that way, so we don't have. So the Guam guys don't have to keep traveling. I think we have enough top level. We can make it work here on island, and I think that's the overall goal. I'd rather see us to be one of those camps that are talked about. You got the American top teams and all those gyms. I want Guam to have one too. Hey, there's this gym in Guam. Let's go have. People come fly out to our facility and train. So I think that's the vision I would rather see rather than our fighters keep flying to different camps. We start our be one of the elite guys.
Well, you guys already have a name that is known. The team is known, right? You guys have many fighters that fight at the top level. You got yourself, you got JJ Ambrose, like the names are endless, right? You guys UFC, PXC, Deep,
Yeah,
Top FC. You guys have been fighting all over the place, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
as being somebody or as being a fighter on the island, right? Is it harder to get fights like for the up and coming guys? Because when you're established, they want you to come. But
yeah.
yeah,
Not really. I mean, we have an event, a feeder event for PXC, which is Prebahal. I mean, it's easy to get on that card. Shoot, guys who don't even have any fighting experience can jump in on there. So it's out here. It's actually pretty easy to get your name. I mean, if you have the talent, they'll see it if you sign up for that event, and then they'll probably throw you into PXC if you do good enough. So, and then shoot, if you're in PXC, I mean, to me, you don't really even need to go anywhere else. Yeah, I mean, they pull for everybody out of PXC, I guess, except for the heavyweights. But yeah,
well, it could be, you could be the first one. Who knows?
yeah,
You can start doing it because they've been signing people left and right, so
yeah,
it's possible.
yeah,
Um, PXC, of course, I'm watching PXC all the time because, like you said, there's guys that go out there and do their thing, and you guys bring in fighters from Asia to
yeah,
fight, and a lot of those guys are also in the UFC. Um, now, for yourself, you went out your last fight. You went out to Korea
yes,
for Top FC, TFC. I think 13, no 12, Top
or
FC
12,
12,
12,
and
yeah,
after the fight, you retired. Am I
yeah,
correct?
yep, I did.
You retired. Now, why did you retire?
Man, honestly, in my head, I was thinking I was on a decent winning streak. I think it was 5 fights. I want to say 5 fight win streak. And I was like, man, I think if I win 6 or 7, I think UFC will pick me up. And had that vision in my head, like, I think, I'll make my last run to try and get into UFC. And then I had the draw. And then from there, I was kind of like, man, I don't know. That's, to me, I thought in my head, like, that's a huge setback, like a draw. When they see that win streak ended, um, that was it, like maybe it's time to hang it up and focus on a career and, supporting the family and stuff other than fighting. So yeah, I had initially planned to retire after that fight.
Then, what made you jump back in now
Um,
for this fight?
Man, there's a bunch of different things. Like, I mean, first of all, I kept training because I wanted to help the guys. The guys were asking if I could come in and help because for the lighter guys like JJ and stuff, I'm a bigger guy, but I feel like I move good for them. So, I would jump in and kind of give them like the weight, but also like the speed they kind of needed. So, I was training with them, and then still kept training, and I'm like, man, I'm still training hard, and so I felt like I have so much left, like I can still compete. And then, along with I've been getting a lot of offers since September, to fight in, small events, deep, um, top FC again. I mean, there was a few other ones. Like there was another one in another Korean promotion that just started a new one. JJ was telling me that they were asking if I wanted to fight in that, in Australia. So, I was getting a bunch of offers too while I was, technically retired, and I have a bunch of management agencies, messaging me like, hey, do you have a manager? We want to try and push you into the UFC, and all that's coming in while I'm still training. I'm like, yeah, man, I still got a lot left. And then finally on this last trip when I went to Japan, um, I met with the Deep owner. They took us out to dinner and stuff, and then also my friend who's also friends with the Deep owner, he finally messaged me back. He's like, hey, man, they want to give you a title shot, and I was like, shit, man, hard. I still got a lot left. I was like, fuck, I guess let's do it then. Jump back in there.
So, is it safe to say that your goal still, now that you're unretired, is to get into the UFC?
Yeah, man, I take UFC or shoot. My last trip to Japan, I went out to Rise, and the event's really, man, the production is awesome, and I wouldn't mind signing with them either. Um, but UFC, Ryzen, whoever comes up with the offer, I guess, I'll sign with them if it sounds right. Yeah, I like Ryzen, I like UFC, but I think I can compete with the world class heavyweights, and I truly believe I'm even better than my last fight in Korea. I don't think I had a good performance. I just felt like maybe this break kind of was beneficial to me.
What makes you go back to Korea time and time again? Because you've been to Korea a bunch of times. I think you've been to Korea more than you've been to any other country to
Uh,
fight.
Fights, yeah. Well, man, I like Top FC, and I like the way Coach Hod treats me out there. You know, he takes care of me. He's just real easy to set up our fights. He doesn't give me the runarounds. He'll tell me who my opponent is, and you know, he's just real straight up. And he just, to me, he seems like a good guy. To me, and I like fighting for him. They take care of me, and I love the Korean crowd too. You know, I felt like they kind of developed a liking towards me. Maybe my fight style, I don't know, but I enjoy fighting out there, and Korea's nice too as well. So you know, I liked it. So, and he kept giving me hot fight offers, so I was taking them.
Yeah, you've beaten some of the better fighters that are heavyweight fighters in Korea in their promotion. And in your
Yeah.
last fight, like you said, you didn't perform the way that you wanted to. But I think there's still a possibility that you might be able to fight for the inaugural heavyweight title in Top FC because they still haven't, put that
Yeah.
together yet.
You know, actually, Coach Hall was talking to me, and he was trying to set up a rematch with the last guy I fought, and maybe throw a belt on the line. But he was telling me that the guy maybe had some other plans or something like that. So that
I
felt.
think I think the other guys, he's also gonna fight in Japan too.
Oh, you're already okay. Yeah.
I
So
think
maybe.
he's fighting in
Like,
Heat.
oh, okay. Yeah.
So
So
maybe afterwards, you
maybe,
guys could throw
yeah,
down.
that'd be cool. You know, put a belt on thing.
Exactly. Hey, collecting belts is very helpful for you to get signed by the bigger promotions, no
Oh
doubt.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now I wanted to talk about PXC,
Mhm.
your rivalry that you had with
Yeah.
Kelvin,
Yes.
and where does that rivalry stem from?
Um, Man, you know, I never really knew. For some reason, the guy just didn't like me. I remember the first time actually, before we even fought, he was always like calling me out and this and that. And this was while I was fighting other guys, and he's always calling me out. And um, then when we finally scheduled our first fight, you know, he comes in the weigh-in, and he's staring me down. I'm like, you know, I don't know what this guy's problem is. Then I think it all stemmed from that first weigh-in when we were, you know, standing there, and he kind of just tried to shove me a little bit, and you know, from there, I guess there's bad blood. But what the funny thing is that every time I see him out in like public, he's always super nice and super cool. And then even this last fight, it really threw me off. Like, you know, I walked up, and then he's like, Rogue, man. He's like, man, I'm so excited to get this fight in and this and that. And then right when the press conference started and we had the stare down, he does this thing and he comes up to me again, gets in my face. I'm like, oh my God, here he goes again, you know? Then sure enough, he does it again at the weigh-ins. I'm just like, man, I don't know. Maybe he's bipolar or something. Or just trying to put on a show. But I felt like he really just doesn't like me or something. But then sometimes I feel like he does like me. I don't know. Bipolar.
It's
But me,
confusing.
I don't have anything personal against anybody. You know, I actually felt for him because I know he took off time fighting because his mom got sick, passed away. You know, I had sympathy for him there. You know, so I never disliked the guy, but I don't know, I guess he doesn't like me.
When you live on an island like Guam, and like you said, that guy, he didn't like you for you don't know why, but then is it easy to run into each other
Well,
often?
actually, he lives in Saipan, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's. I mean, it's not far. It's like a 30-minute plane ride, but yeah, we don't. I mean, we've seen each other maybe a couple times in between fighting, and like I said, when I see him there, he's always super nice and cool. But when it comes to our weigh-ins and our, yeah, but I guess it is what it is. That's how he is.
Now, in for your next fight, you're going to fight in deep, and it's for they say it's the open weight title, but then it's the heavyweight title. Which one did they tell you it is?
Um, they, man, all I saw is they call it Megaton title. So I don't think there's a limit on the weight class. I'm not, you know, I'm not too sure, but I assume it's kind of like their heavyweight title.
Yeah. Nowadays, it doesn't seem like they have heavyweight titles anymore. It's just like open weight titles. Like all the
Yeah,
promotions in Asia just call it open weight and say, hey, there's no limit. You guys can
yeah,
weigh as much as you want, right? So now
yeah,
you said that, you retired, they met with you, you got all these people pulling you, right? And you're like, and you're still training and you're like, hey, I still got something left. I'm going to take this fight at deep for the title. Now, when they gave you the opponent, what did you think about the opponent right away?
uh, looked him up. I saw he was a kickboxer. He had won uh I think it was K1 Grand Prix in Seoul, and so I checked into it. Man, quite honestly, I think his kickboxing is okay. It just seems like he's a guy who knows how to use his reach, and he's lengthy. But other than that, I mean, yeah, I think he's just an okay fighter.
Did he's the one who fought Fedor, right?
Yeah, he was the one that Fedor came out of retirement for. Yeah, and
Yeah, that
Ryzen.
so you said earlier that you brought in a Swiss kickboxer to
Yes,
help you train. His style is very similar to, I think that your opponent's name is Jaideep Singh, right?
yes, yes.
Yes, Jaideep Singh. And is he like he's very similar to him, tall, linky.
Yeah, he's pretty tall. He's about 6'4", 6'5". I would say, maybe the style's not the same, but he gives me the look of that, dealing with a guy that tall. The guy we brought in, he's a, but the way I look at it is, man, if I can deal with the strikes he's throwing, and I definitely think he hits a lot harder, um, then Jay Deep Singh's probably shouldn't be too much of a problem. But it's MMA, so it's different. But just from what I feel right now, and I believe I do more than hold my own against this guy we brought in. I was actually pretty surprised how quickly I was able to adjust to that height and size.
So on the island, there's not many like fighters that you can train with that size.
Oh, sorry, what's that?
There's not many other fighters
Oh,
locally that you can train with that are that size.
yeah. I mean, not really, man. I mean, I have one friend who's, he's about 6'3", 265, and he's still fresh in MMA. But I used him a lot because he's a big and physically strong guy. But it's been hard for him to make it out to train with me. So I'm training with all these small guys and not getting a good look at like size, to that I'll be fighting. So me and JJ kind of said, okay, let's just bring this guy in. We can get that look.
How long has it been? How long have you been training with him?
Um, Shoot, a little over 2 weeks now. Yeah, he came in, I believe on the 15th or yeah, June 15th or something like that. And yeah, we've been training together since.
Wow. Um, Now after this fight at Deep, like what are your goals? I know well we talked about that you wanted to maybe get into Ryzen or UFC or whatever, but what are your like short-term goals after this fight?
Shoot up. Um, I mean, barring no injuries, I want to get back into training and just improve, I guess, and see what offers come. But yeah, I'd probably want to get right back in there and just keep improving. How I just feel like every training session I'm getting better, and so I mean that's a short term goal. Just keep getting better, and whatever offers come, then take it from there. And I guess
Wow.
also see how this fight turns out. I'm confident I'm going to win, but you never know what can happen. So shoot, I
So
could lose, and
so
for
you're
sure,
taking it fight by fight then.
yeah, yeah, pretty much fight by fight.
Um you said that you retired, you came back, and you're talking about like all these things that were happening in your life to kind of pull you back into fighting. Was there anybody that were like, "Hey, don't fight anymore"? Was there anybody in your life telling you don't do it, don't go back?
Yeah, actually, matter of fact, my one of the people closest in my lives, uh, my grandfather. Man, he's a real proud grandfather, but he doesn't like me fighting. He doesn't like to see me get hurt. He was so happy when he found out I was retiring. So, um, shoot, man, I had a hard time keeping this fight from him because I knew he was gonna flip out and be real upset. So he caught wind of it, and I finally had to explain to him, man, I'm a grown man, and I just still have a passion for this. It's just something I'm passionate about, and he didn't want me to do it, but he finally understood it. He is a grown man and he's passionate for it, and I think I just give him the confidence that I can beat anybody up. So I think that helps a little bit.
Well, I've seen a lot of your fights, and it doesn't really seem like you take too much damage.
Yeah. I don't think so either. Especially my last few. I don't. Aside from like the cuts, I haven't taken too many hard shots. I don't think so. So I think I'm okay as far as injuries go.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, ever since you came to fight at TFC and, fighting for PXC, what I've analyzed about you is that you're very good at staying away from the huge shots
yeah,
of your
yeah,
opponents and kind of like mixing things up and, kind of coming at different angles that you would not expect for
yeah,
somebody your size, because you're a big dude, right?
yeah,
And so, yeah, I think that this fight, in my opinion, I feel that this fight, that I'm confident that you probably will do very well against this guy, especially on the ground, to be honest.
yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, man, I'm really confident about it too. I don't think he can stop me from taking him down, and yeah, I definitely feel like if I get on top, it's my game for sure. But then there's also this other side to me that get hit, and then the brawler side comes out. Like back in when I first started fighting, I always had that brawler side, where we throw down, and so sometimes I get caught up in that thing. But as I'm getting older, I'm trying to learn like, hey, let's not do too much of that. But I can never guarantee it. Sometimes I'm like, okay, well, you might hit me, and I'll be like, okay, let's go. Let's turn this into a kickboxing match. Then and I want to
Yeah,
prove to my
I seen sparks of that during your fights too.
yeah.
Like,
So
you'll sit there and trade
it,
for a split second. You'll sit there and trade with them, and then you'll go back and be like, okay, now I got to go back to like what I'm supposed to be doing. I see some of
yeah,
that
yeah.
before, so yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So I guess it's just the fighter in me. I
Yeah,
really
the
think I have
never
that.
give up attitude, I guess. Like you
Yeah.
said, that when you were younger, you were training with those guys that were just all heart. So I guess
Yep.
that kind of rubs up on you, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, that's it. Thank you for your time,
Oh
and
man.
yeah, thank you for your time, and good luck on your title fight. I think it's long overdue, to be honest with you. I think you should have been fighting for a title somewhere a long
Yeah.
time ago, because like you said earlier, you had like a 5-6 fight winning streak going off, and I don't understand why none of these promotions kind of gave you a shot. But now you're getting your shot. It's kind of weird because you lost you got to draw your last fight, and then now this time they're giving you a title, but when you had your streak they didn't want to give you the title shot. So
Oh,
I
but
guess,
maybe they kind of, I don't know. Maybe they know how hard I've been training. I don't know. But yeah, man, I definitely feel like I'm a lot better. And yeah, shoot, man, thanks for having me on there. It's pretty cool.
all
Thank
right,
you.
well, yeah, take care, and thank you for coming on, and we'll definitely have you on in the future.
All right, cool. Sounds good.